I was just sitting around the house. My mom lives with me. She has Alzheimer's and she had settled down for the evening. And my brother lives downstairs, and put on my nightgown and was going to watch TV for a little while and just sort of let Friday night start happening. And I'm watching a TV show, and I heard this sound that didn't seem like it went with the TV show. There was a just horrible screaming, 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 and it was a picture of a funeral. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. And so as it moved to commercial, the screaming continued. And at that moment, I realized there was somebody at my door. And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know it was such a desperate scream. I was almost afraid to open the door, but I went and opened the door, and there was a lady standing there holding a baby in her arms, and he was limp. He just, you know, if you've ever seen an unconscious baby, he wasn't like a baby who's asleep. He was just, you know, his limbs and everything were just hanging. A little guy about 2 years old, and she was just a mess. She was hysterical, and I put this on my Facebook post. She literally threw the baby into my arms, and she's screaming, "He's not breathing, he's not breathing." And I didn't know how long he hadn't been breathing, so, but my MoDOT training really did just kick in, and I've taken CPR several times since I've been at MoDOT, and I knew that with a little one it's a little bit different, so I immediately started trying to do CPR on him, and he still had a heartbeat, so I didn't do any of the chest compressions, but I just started doing the breathing, and there was no response, and it was pretty scary. And the mom was in such a state that she couldn't even call 911. So I'm thinking somebody needs to call 911, but I need to keep working on this baby. And so just then, after I had been working on him a little while, my brother came up the stairs because he had heard the racket and he didn't know what in the world was going on. And so I asked him to take over. And by then the baby was moving a little bit, and I couldn't tell if he had started breathing on his own, but he was making movements. So my brother took over, and I called 911 on my phone really quickly. About the time that I saw the vehicles coming down the hill, I heard the baby start crying. And so we knew that he was alive. And so then it was mass confusion in my house. My mom, you know, as I said, she has Alzheimer's. She came out and she couldn't figure out why all these people were in our living room, and the baby on the floor, and the mother still standing there, just very shaken. So they worked on him for a while and got his history, and by then he was really crying loudly because I think he was probably afraid with all the people around him. But for us, it was a great sound to hear the baby begin to cry and respond. So we felt really good, but afterwards we were just drained, and it's like we didn't even know, you know, it was like our training just took over, and you know, we felt very, very glad that we were able to help. And of all the times that I have taken CPR classes, this is the first time I've ever even come close to needing it and having to use it. And I'm, you know, I see the importance of it more than ever. And I'm truly grateful for the fact that, you know, the training was made available to me, and that this little boy, his name was Henry. And Henry may very well be alive today because of the training that MoDOT provided me. That is a skill that, you know, I gained in my professional life, but, you know, was of service in my personal life and to the community. And so I feel like MoDOT helped me be a good citizen. Never again will I take those classes for granted, and never will I think, well, it's just, you know, a hoop that we're jumping through. I know how important it is that all of us know what to do in case of an emergency, and whether it's a child, whether it's an adult. Boy, I sure feel blessed to have had the ability to, you know, help save this little boy.